Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this is a treat for me. I'm joined by Joe and Ryan in one. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. All right. Yeah.
we're not the same people.
One person. It's. I think I couldn't get a more sarcastic trio together if I tried. It would be the most.
Really?
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. Well, this is kind of an interesting crossover. We got comics, got movies. I've been doing the movies with you, Ryan. Obviously, lots of comics with Joe. We did the retrospective for Cap No More. We've been going through the. We're about to do Superman 4 with Ryan, so lots of bad times ahead.
Nice.
So we can combine all this stuff together with Falcon Winter Soldier. Just wrapped up 6 episodes. You guys have both seen it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we thought it was good. I mean, we were just talking about this. So it's just sort of, if you put it in the other 20 Marvel movies, it comes out somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There are good parts, there are bad parts. That's, as a TV show, it's pretty great.
Oh,
I mean, as a 6-episode run. I mean, but as a movie, they've done better. But I don't know. I put it in like the context of like the Watchmen series that came out a year ago, the Lovecraft thing, which is kind of medium mixed, and this wasn't as good as Watchmen, but it had some action, had some characters we like. It was good.
It was on TV.
It was on TV.
Yeah, and you could click on it and watch it when you wanted to.
Yeah, had great production values.
Yeah. There, I mean, So I have a feeling. I have this theory that people who read the comics will like this less than people who didn't. That's kind of the working.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that, especially because there's So when it comes to the comics, Perch, you and I had discussed, like you had mentioned, Cap No More.
Yep.
And we basically said they're going to mine most of the show from that run.
Which they sort of did, yeah.
Yeah, there was a decent amount of pushback from that. People being like, oh no, it's going to be a lot of Rick Remender's run because it's Sam Wilson as Cap. And that's really the only thing they take from Rick Remender's run is Sam becoming Cap. Spoilers, everyone. But no, I mean, Mark Grunwald alone, if you took out all of his contributions, you don't have a show. Because he had come up with the idea of the Power Broker, created the Flag Smashers, John Walker, Lamar, the council or the committee that runs Captain America. So if you took all of that out, you don't have a show here. That is like 75% of this show. Is all of that like backdrop and what they're doing.
And fortunately, I think that's good source material.
Yes.
For this. And that's why I get to the theory of, I think people the comics did it very well, a lot of those elements. Yeah. So the show didn't translate it as well as the comics did. So that's why comic readers probably a little bit disappointed. People who hadn't read the comics are like, hey, this is some pretty cool stuff because it is. So it feels like that's a good mix. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, they apparently had to rewrite like a good portion of the show because there was some sort of a virus plot line at some point. I don't know if that was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No. So there's all sorts of weird conspiracies and ADR things and people kind of taking it apart. But apparently the Flag Smashers were a totally different thing. And they were kind of, I mean, if you really look at them, I mean, they're kind of tacked on to this. To the show, they're a MacGuffin kind of, because I don't know that I made a list of the characters and I think they're like the 6th most important character group.
Yeah, well, we'll go through. Yeah, we should go through. Yeah. Flag Smashers. It is interesting because it did seem a little disjointed. Yeah, I didn't know about the virus thing, but it makes sense.
Yeah. No. So I think there was a major rewrite, and so this show could have been like a complete disaster. And it. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems like I don't know. The Captain America movies, at least, have been kind of in this spy game kind of government stuff, and they didn't really get on that too much, but they I don't know. They try to, and then there's Sharon Carter, and
Sharon Carter's all right. So okay. So we should go through some of these characters, but was there a single moment? It's always lead with the positive. What was the best thing for you throughout this thing? What was the
one of the best things for me, and we'll get into why it was like nonsensical later, because even though it's probably one of my favorite moments in the show, it's also makes no sense. Is when Sam goes back to Isaiah in the last episode and tells him, what's happened, and he has that surprise for him and brings him to the exhibit to show Isaiah that you're always going to be remembered. We got this statue and this, and America's always going to know your contributions. I thought that was like I'm a sucker for those kind of sweet little moments. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense and is like really rushed at the end. I wish they kind of took the time to develop that a little more, because you're just sort of dropped into that happening. But that, like I said, I'm a sucker for those kind of sweet moments. That's
probably good thing. Yeah. I mean, it is questionable. I think you and I talked about it, like why Isaiah, who's had to fake his own death to hide from the government, is walking into this government museum with Sam Wilson, maybe the most recognizable character the government knows at the moment as their new Cap, and that they wouldn't put it together like, hey, who's this guy that he's taken in to show the statue of the person who he thought was dead, who looks remarkably like him, but couldn't be. But anyway, I'm with you. That was a good moment. Yeah. What about you, Ryan? What was the feel good moment for you?
I mean, I think anything involving Zemo was pretty hilarious. Like him in the dance floor, that he has kind of this Alfred Butler who goes around and blows people up. I mean,
I'm with you. Yeah, I thought the Butler, which is a character we should discuss a little bit, but this stuff, kind of like Isaiah, it doesn't make any sense, but it is funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's a history of like of Captain America and Bucky going into that museum and not being noticed. So
Oh, okay.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
why
sure.
Not?
It's
in canon. It's in canon. So
it's a horribly run museum with no security, where it's like, oh, Winter Soldier, the most wanted man in the world, just like strolls in, checks it out.
No problem. Like that. There's no metal detector. The arm is fine.
No, absolutely not. Why would there be?
Well,
it's covered in plot armor.
There you have it. They're doing some temperature checks at the beginning when you go, but that's about all they've got. All right. What about the worst? What's the single worst thing? What's the dumbest moment? If you could nail one, what is your dumbest moment?
I think like it's tough because this is a rich field of dumb moments. I'm kind of torn between a couple. First is one that I think I talked with you on one of the live streams of in the first episode where Bucky is at the bar with the girl and she's like, there's no word for a parent that's lost a child, and like that whole bit, and then followed by him going to visit the old man, and they zoom in on the picture of his dead son that he's like worshiping. Like they really like beat you over the head like you're a moron and you haven't figured it out yet. Like that whole sequence, and then this is like a little blip. But in the last episode, when Cap's fighting Carly, there's like a few seconds in all their like shots where it's like a wide angle of Carly like coming at Cap, and she is just nonsensically flailing her arms like this in the shot.
Yeah.
And it's like they kept that in, and you're just like, why would you keep that in? Like this is you could have cut that and kept the same runtime, and I don't think anyone would have really complained. It was just a few seconds, but you kept this nonsensical her. She's like leaning way too far forward. And, it reminded me of like Bart and Lisa Simpson, like fighting with Lisa doing the thing with their arms. Like, it was like, what are you doing?
But Yeah, I thought the U.S. agent turn, like in the last episode, was kind of weird, where he's like, "Oh, now I'm gonna choose to be a sort of good guy." I mean, I know he's sort of ambiguous, but it's like they could have cut him completely out of the last episode and kind of left him on the lam, but he has to come back and decide that I'm gonna try and save. And then Bucky's like, we're all buddies now, even though we broke your arm last episode.
Didn't you see? It felt like I missed something. In the previous episode, they're like, well, you can't represent Captain America anymore. You will be court-martialed and there will be bad consequences for you. And the next episode, the police are like, thank God this guy's here with a homemade Captain America shield around with Bucky.
Well, I mean, he's a super soldier, and he wanted to get revenge for his buddy Battlestar or whatever. But
more revenge. It was there were more necks to cut.
Yeah.
Do you think he actually sliced through the guy's neck with the shield, or was it just severe skin damage? What do you think?
I mean, how do you kill a super soldier like that?
Well, they don't have metal skin or bones. That's Wolverine. You're crazy.
I think that's what they wanted to try to imply, because I immediately thought of that two-parter Roger Stern, John Byrne fight with Baron Blood.
Yep.
And where he severs Baron Blood's head with the shield, because it was all that kind of imagery, the same kind of
the blood drip on the shield.
Yeah. So,
but they couldn't show it because it's Disney Plus.
Yeah. So I would love to sit in on one of those meetings with like Disney executives being like, how far can we go? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it'll be okay to show this to kids if we only imply that a lunatic severs this guy's head with a shield. Like,
as long as the bloodshot dripping off the shield is less than 2 seconds, we're probably okay.
Yeah, and like make sure his hand, like you can do like maybe one twitch, but if you get too twitchy, that's going to make people uncomfortable. Just the one twitch. And
if you do 2 twitches and then still hand, that's bad. You gotta. Yeah. You can't go back to the still hand.
You can't.
Well, all right. So to me, the scene I could never get over, and I've commented on a few times too, was this bank loan scene. Which always felt it felt like the people making the movie understood that they were doing something stupid at the point where they had the bank loan guy wanting to take the selfie and other things, and it's like, but we can't possibly give you a loan, Mr. Most famous superhero celebrity walking the planet right now. We people like you don't get loans. It's they were trying to go for a commentary on race, of course, and not a wrong point to make. Just the equivalent would be like LeBron James goes into the bank. You're like, wow, you're really famous, and I'd like your autograph, but we can't possibly give you money. You're black. It wouldn't work. That whole scene very strange to me.
There were the thing that killed me was there were ways that maybe that could have worked.
Sure.
Like it should have just been his sister. And you might have been able to get away with something where it's like, we really appreciate your brother's service, but
bring him in here. And maybe if he does some kind of very cheesy, stupid promotional thing for us, we'll give the money. Yeah. And he's like, we're not going to be used that way. That would have completely worked. Or I think there are ways to pull it off. It just that scene felt like a plot, moving the plot along to get you somewhere, but it just
and it's made dumber because they never really resolve the house thing anyway. They just kind of go like, oh, we're not going to sell the boat. And then that's kind of it.
They just don't.
The house is fine, I guess. So it's like,
no, they have a barbecue. They have a barbecue and everybody comes and everybody helps. And
that's right.
It's the whatever. That's the Capra ending of, everybody comes together.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a bit of like an unsatisfying ending because I don't think there's any point where Falcon, as just Falcon, could have not just had a barbecue there and saved the day.
What is the Avengers kind of financial situation?
It feels very shaky. Yeah.
Well, it seems like they can go anywhere, but that they don't have any money, or they do, or like, I don't know, with Stark out of the picture, what's the...
Well,
what's the deal?
They're flying back and forth to other countries or off to Madripoor and the Middle East and all these different places, and seemingly no problem. I understand it's a government plane, but still, with or without the government, they're booking hotels. Life's great. I mean, how much is this boat worth? I kept thinking, like, God damn, do they need like $1 billion loan for this fishing boat?
The other thing too is, like, how did Sam's sister not like just kill him when there's a realization of, like, so you're with Baron Zemo, who has infinite money, and as part of your deal couldn't get him to transfer like some money to me so we could keep the house?
Yeah. Again, we see the house and the boat. How much could this operation possibly be worth? I mean, are Louisiana property values like multi-million-dollar estates for an apartment? I did like.
Yeah, they established that Baron Zemo basically has infinite money.
Yeah,
and for him to not even be able to just be like, look, maybe it'll be fishy if I give you a transfer, but I can give you how much you need, $500,000 in cash. Like.
Couldn't they have set up something where Baron Zemo understands this is going on and the Falcon won't take his money, but just to screw with him, he pays it off for her anyway? And it's just like some magical person paid it all off, and Zemo's like, now you're in my debt. And it sets up that. There seems like there's a lot of options here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's handled very oddly.
Yeah. The opening, Falcon chasing down Batroc, the Leaper.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun little
That's the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay.
He's great. He is made definitely more cool in this show probably than what we've seen in the comic. Would you say? Or
I would say that. The only thing is they tried to balance that out by having just as bad, if not worse, dialogue around him. It's basically like Batroc shows up and then Sam makes jokes about, like, hey, you baguette eating cheese lover. And like weird, like it was very weird how they handled, like, the French jokes that they tried to make were very odd.
They hadn't really established. I mean, he was French, but they didn't nail you over the head with that, did they? Or did I miss? I mean, he was in the second Captain America movie, and he was here. Yeah,
it was only with like jokes that they beat you
but
over
they
the head
did go
with.
all in with like, it's dirty Frenchman. It's like, wait, what? All right. Well, okay. So going through the characters, Ryan, you throw a list.
Right. All right. So I'll just run this. So we have Torres. This is from like least important to most important.
Great.
Just for no particular reason, but you got Torres, who's presumably the next Falcon, maybe, and Batroc or whatever, the Leaper. What's the guy's name? Batroc.
Batroc the Leaper.
I have never heard that name ever. But I'm just like, he's the parachute guy, and he shows up at the beginning and at the end, and he gets.
I like how you've ever written just as parachute guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like he's wearing a squirrel suit. I mean, I don't know what to call him.
Well, okay. So first, Torres is the new Falcon in the comics, and he's an Inhuman. So it doesn't or what happens if he turns into a literal bird person? Doesn't he? In the comics, like he's got feathers, I think.
I feel like we're going into like Animorphs territory now. But
fine. He was plot device moving forward guy.
He was fine. He was an empty shell of a character who was just like, Sam, quick, you got to get to the next scene.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Have you seen this mobile app?
This whole show is just get from here to there, from there to there, from there to there. Now say something important, and then take a stand and have a big fight. Yeah,
that's pretty much the setup.
Yeah. Right.
So he was fine. I mean, but Batroc. Well, we talked about Batroc. I'm always reminded that these flying suit stunts that Michael Bay was really into was because he thought they were cool, and so he would try and insert them into his movies, even though they didn't belong there at all. And so every time I see them now, I'm like, we're still doing that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can like fall that far and that fast, and using helicopters is generally a bad idea, I would say, like flying into helicopters in those suits. But
I haven't seen something fall that hard and that fast since Joss Whedon's Justice League movie.
Hey,
but
the entire time that canyon scene was going on, I kept thinking, you know what they need here is an underground cave with a robot inside where they can shoot missiles at them.
Yeah.
Where is the Superman tie-in? That's
exactly. There's always a canyon.
I was getting some like opening sequences from like a James Bond movie kind of vibes in where he's got to do like a crazy stunt thing first and before the song. And,
it totally had that feel. I did wonder if it was a kind of an homage to James Bond because that was your cold open, big kind of stunt show.
Yeah, and I like this bit. It was I thought it looked really nice.
It was nice after all of WandaVision, which ultimately ended with Skybeam and CGI, to have something that felt like a real action scene for the first time in Disney Plus. But okay, what's up next?
So up next we got Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah,
who, I think they introduced him. I don't know. I think that was pretty well. He doesn't think Sam should be Captain America. He doesn't think people will let him. He kind of comes around to that, and his allegedly, his son is introduced, and they could be, setting him up to be, in the Young Avengers or whatever. But
I think we'll see if they do. I mean,
his son can't hit a basketball shot. We know that. So
he's going to be a crappy Young Avenger.
It was weird how every time Sam went there, the kid was always like annoyed that he was there, and that
was that his son or his grandson?
It might have been his grandson.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it was like the grandson every single time, like, and to the point where his whole personality was, "I'm annoyed that you came over here."
Yeah.
And so that was a bit weird, but Isaiah, particularly, I can't think of the actor's name right now, but I thought he was one of the stronger like presences in the show.
Yeah,
like he really commanded the scene every time he was on.
Did. I think they missed an opportunity where you don't completely understand why he's so pissed off. I mean, you understand part of it that he was overlooked, but they hinted like they put me in jail. But why exactly? They're trying. Well, you get between the lines. Go ahead.
I mean, what they set up was that his company or whatever was behind enemy lines, and he went after them and freed them, and they put him in jail for AWOL. Which this is the exact same thing that Steve Rogers did, and they turned him into Captain America. They put this guy in jail because he was black.
Right.
So that's kind of the parallel and the setup and the everything else. But they don't. It's a tell don't show kind of thing, but
it would have been from a show, like just it would have driven that point home. I think more.
If this was a 10 episode show, you could see like one episode as a flashback to the Korean War for some reason, and everything is in there. But
this show desperately needed just a little more room, or no boat cleaning.
Yes. I think you could have substituted boat cleaning for Korean War flashbacks and had a much stronger show.
Yeah, there were so many things in this show that I think would have benefited from even a few more minutes of fleshing it out and conversation.
Well, they had to get out of Georgia, so
that's fair.
They had too much to hurry. They also hint that Isaiah they were experimenting on him, or they're trying to get his blood and all that. Again, there's another one where 10 seconds of flashbacks of him strapped down and them doing this would have, I think, nailed the scene. Because I do agree with you. I think
if they directly link him to like the Flag Smasher serum or something like that, it's like his blood goes to Nagel and Nagel, some sort of like chain of events there. But
I think he could have had a pretty powerful, as opposed to they just kind of relied too much on you being like, well, he was wronged, and then you're supposed to be like, okay, and then you move on. But they could have really synced that home. But anyway.
That whole bit, and again, Sam constantly coming to visit him when he's one of the most recognizable people in the world, And Isaiah, as far as we know, is still like trying to hide.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they establish that he's recognizable like on the street. On the street, people look at Sam and know who he is.
At least eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that people like to have him like visit Isaiah multiple times in that situation, like I would think Isaiah would be like, I'm still trying to lay low. Maybe you could just like call me or something. Like
I would have like, hey asshole, you're blowing my cover. Like that also would have kind of underlined why he's angry and just,
Yeah, we also don't get a really good reason why Bucky knows where he is.
Yeah.
He just kind of,
He kicked Bucky's ass. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
He's on his list. I think he's on his list of people he wants to.
He was. But hiding from the government and everybody, he's trying to lay low. Bucky knows where he is, and in theory is writing it down on the list. I noticed, by the way, I'm looking at your list of characters here, and there's one you didn't mention, the psychologist, the therapist character.
Yeah,
a lot of airtime. Like,
in the beginning at least?
I kept expecting she'd be revealed to be some kind of spy or agent or something that had a point, but
she's not a very good psychologist. But
no,
but the therapy sessions were fun, I guess. But no, I mean. It's like the 2 or 3 scenes she was in. I mean, it's mainly just to set up, Bucky's state and transformation and relationship with, Sam. So
was it my wife and I was watching this, and she kept asking, like, why exactly do these two people dislike each other? Like they're putting these conflict between Sam and Bucky, but why? Like, what was the? And I never had a satisfying answer.
I don't think they disliked each other as much as Bucky didn't like anybody or didn't like where he was, or, I think Bucky was just in his own head. I mean, he's trying to.
But then the scenes are of Bucky like on the plane, like, all right, what's the strategy? And Sam like, F you, and then just jumps out. Like,
this is, I think, one of the major problems in the show is they keep being inconsistent on who's the good cop and who's the bad cop.
Yeah.
Because then, like, Sam does that, and then in another scene, Sam and Bucky are trying to get the drop on the Flag Smashers in the second episode with the trucks, and then Bucky's the one who goes like, screw it, and runs and gets caught and stuff. And it's like, you gotta figure out you gotta have some consistency. There's only 6 episodes here, guys. Like this.
Yeah.
You can't have both dumb cop.
Yeah. No, I mean, they both want to have like witty lines, and they want to be they both want to be like Mel Gibson, in Lethal Weapon. They want to, nobody.
Mel Gibson's perfect.
Nobody wants to be the straight man. Yeah, they both.
You got to have a Danny Glover in there. All right. Keep going with your. Okay, so who else you got?
We got the Wakanda people, which I don't think we need to go deep into, but it's just that these women can take out like 3 superpowered, people and take off Bucky's arm, and they are not to be fucked with.
Sure.
Yeah. Which sets up that amazing, predictable scene. Cause that's another one of the problems in the show is there are multiple sequences where it's going to happen and you just have to sit there for a few minutes until it actually happens. Yeah. So when they show up and you see Baron Zemo, you're just like, oh, he's going to get away. Yeah. And you just have to sit there for minutes until he actually gets away. And
expecting manhole cover escape through the bathroom now. Like, why would they put a big drain in the bathroom?
I mean, you don't have a giant manhole in your bathroom?
I do not. No.
Yeah, no. That whole bit, and they really wanted to take in Baron Zemo, but then like not enough to actually take him in.
Yeah, I can't quite understand. So he killed their king, which is a pretty big crime in Wakanda. You have the feeling like they're out to kill him or capture him. I mean,
and they take him to the raft. Like it seems like they would have just taken him back
to Wakanda.
Yeah.
Why are they taking him to somebody like they're like, we this is on us. We're going to do it. If we this is our bounty. We're going to catch him. Now we're going to hand him over to the Americans. Like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like, why are you undermining your sovereignty while at the same time making a big deal about how important your sovereignty is over the safety of the entire world?
Yeah. Yeah, I was very confused by their we're not going to work with you, we're going to work with you. No, we're going to activate the hidden trap in your arm, but then we're also willing to do favors like make Sam a new suit. And
that's the other thing is the new Captain America suit is not made in America. It's a Wakanda suit. So
yeah, that I cannot believe how many people didn't even mention that because that is like
now they will.
That's such a monumental oversight.
I mean, why not just have it made from China at this point?
Yeah, it's like, oh, who cares? Whatever.
Also, is anybody worried that the people who made the new Bucky arm that they have the back door to remote control and get it to fall off? Like it's like, go ahead and give this flying suit to the new Captain America. I'm sure it's completely cool though. There will be no problems in the future if we ever have problems.
Yeah. So
don't fuck with Wakanda. That's the rule.
and also with that suit too, and just showing up with the shield, I'm really glad that the government was like, well, we did ask you to give us that shield, but I guess now that you got a new suit, it's yours.
Yeah. The suit has the stars and stripes on it, so I mean, we can't really ask for it back now. And
which again, that's another moment where it's like this would have benefited from even 30 seconds of someone just saying we went up the chain and we're going to let you keep the shield.
Well, sure.
Would have been helpful.
It actually brings us nicely to the next name on your list here, which is Val. Yeah. Which is Joe and I were chatting earlier, and this would be a name I don't think you know, Ryan, but it would have made infinitely more sense for this to be Val Cooper.
Oh,
what we got.
Because Val Cooper in the comics, especially during the Cap No More storyline, was part of the committee.
Yeah.
And also worked with supervillains.
Yeah.
So at first, when they said Val and showed her and the way she was acting and everything, I was like, oh, it's Val Cooper. And then I'm like, oh, it's the Contessa Val? That doesn't make a lot of sense here. But
well, in the MCU, the comics don't exist, so it's just a name.
Hey,
I mean, who knows? And but I mean,
those comics anyway. Yeah,
it's a hell of a cameo, and it's kind of like I see her Veep character as playing like the evil Nick Fury. Yeah, if she's either assembling her super team or just doing dirty stuff or whatever, but. It's a weird take on just that role of a character. Just the evil Nick Fury is to just be a little scatterbrained and comical, but also know kind of what's going on.
Know everybody deadly.
Yeah, my crazy conspiracy theory is that whoever was writing this meant to use Val Cooper and just picked the wrong Val, and no one caught it because they didn't care.
Yeah.
And it ultimately doesn't matter.
I can see they were trolling Wikipedia and it's like, we wanted Val in here. And then they're like, oh, wait, shit, got the wrong one. Because they're setting up Secret Invasion. And in Secret Invasion, the Contessa Val turns out to be a Skrull and a double agent. And so it makes me think that they're like, well, we'll work Val into here. I feel like you. I feel like there was a mistake that was made somewhere along the line. But it was a great cameo. I mean, it's nice to see Elaine back there. If you can get George somehow into this show, it would be perfect.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It would be. I would love that. I mean, well, he's a voice in the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Okay, he could be D-Man. We could have that.
He could absolutely be D-Man.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So what do you got for us, Ryan?
No. I'm just trying to think of. I mean, we had Gary Shandling as a in a previous movie as a senator, and I'm wondering. Can we get Seinfeld as a senator or
somehow
Jason Alexander somehow just sleazy, not a hero person or a villain, just a sleazy side character.
Have Jerry Seinfeld be the Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah. Why not? I mean,
what about Michael Richards? Do you think he can?
He's a new Red Skull.
He could, yeah, exactly. He could be a villain.
Yeah,
who's going to complain about that?
Nobody's about that. Put him in there. In some way, you assemble those four in the same room again. Just that seems like a Marvel moment they want to have happen anyway, where everybody.
No, they all end up at the raft at the end. And,
that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be. All right, so you got what you got next? You got the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, and they're kind of low on the list just because I feel like I kind of like Carly, but then they kind of just murder them all off and they get rid of them. I mean, I feel like she could have been not a good guy, but she could have been running around
like the goat, maybe
like the goat.
From the ghost from the Ant-Man movies. It could have
yeah. Right. I don't feel the need to kill her off, even though, I mean, she did murder what's his name's friend, but I don't know. But she's dead.
The whole thing.
She went too far, and for some reason she went too far, and it's not really explained.
Yeah. They didn't do a good enough job, I think, explaining why she went too far. She shouldn't have been the one to call for blowing up that building. It should have been one of the other people in the group. And she needed to be the most empathetic member, which is how they actually did it in the comics. The original Flag Smasher had to leave the organization because they went too far. Yeah. And instead here, I liked Carly enough, and then after that turn where she needlessly murders people in a building, and she kept getting worse, like by the 6th episode, where she is just constantly trying to push people away to murder other people. Like, please, you have to let go of me. I have to murder people. Yeah. And she just kept shoving people to try to melt people alive in a van. And like multiple times she was shoving people out of the way to be like, I have to murder everyone in this van. After a while, it was like, you are now like comedically over the top villain.
Right. Yeah, right. So that's why you have to die. But I just feel like, we talked about that they did those characters kind of wrong, and they're kind of, like I said, they're number 6 on the list.
Which makes it makes Sam seem dumber because he's like, even in the 6th episode when he's like, look, I know you're redeemable. I know you murdered so many people needlessly and you kept shoving people to burn those people alive in a van, but you got a point. And it's like, no, she doesn't. There are other people that want stuff that she wants that's good that murdered no one. Yeah. Right. Talk to those people.
Yeah. Her overall, the overall plan of the Flag Smashers, it's they lay it out there, but it's this idea of, hey, that during the 5 years, people moved around and then the world changed and now we're trying to move it back, but we're moving it back, giving up some of the things some of the progress. Like it became a very sticky, goofy, it's not a bad plan, so you can make them sympathetic, but they do several things. Even her introduction, though, she's in the truck and she's looking kind of helpless, and then she gives the evil smile and just punches, was it Sam or Bucky out of the truck. It's I don't know. I could sense that this villain was going in this direction. And
one of the other overall problems with the MCU going forward is this is actually part of what I think makes the MCU similar or relatable to the comics. Is they absolutely did not think through this 5-year gap. No, they did it because it was a cool, like, the snap's going to be a really cool ending, and we'll figure it out later. Mm-hmm. And they never did. And now it's all trying to make it work in hindsight, and there's no way to make this work. And that is a drag on. That's going to be a drag on everything they do moving forward, just because they wanted one cool ending to a movie.
Well, I mean, I think they could just kind of ignore it as well. That would be another option, and it would be okay. Yeah. When they try and explain it or add plot to it, it's as if they're making a linear verse, and they're trying to over-explain certain aspects. It's very comic book like of wanting to talk a lot about something that you can just kind of ignore and move on, and like adventures are happening and things don't make sense. But the more you try and build up mythology there, if you don't have a plan, I think you're screwed.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is it's got brought up in Spider-Man: Far From Home. It got brought up in WandaVision. They're bringing it up again here. They're probably going to bring it up in Loki, and it's like
it's a big part of Loki, from what I gather, and it's going to be a big part of the Young Avengers assembly. And Ant-Man, the new movie, is going to tackle that with Kang. And so, I mean, we're just going to keep hearing about this 5-year gap to the point that everyone will be very sick of hearing about it. And anyway. All right, so
the other person who made Sam look really dumb, which is a continuing theme, we have Sharon Carter, the power broker, which is not. It's like they just broadcast that, and it's like, yep, she's the power broker. It's not Mephisto.
Yep.
No.
It would have worked.
Internet series,
It would have worked better. Again, this is another situation where you knew that the instant she showed up, oh, that's Power Broker. Yeah. And we had to wait the next half of the season for the reveal. Right. It would have been better had they just come out and made us as the audience know.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. They should have, at the end of that 3rd episode, had her revealed as the power broker behind the scenes. So then we all would have been like, oh, when are they going to figure it out? Like, something bad's going to happen.
Don't trust her, Sam. Yeah. I mean,
but they never figure it out. And then at the end, she is back in the US and has a pardon and is going to sell a bunch of secrets that, like, who cares? I mean,
like, this leads to, Joe and I chat about this. This leads to another one of the dumbest scenes, I think, in this series.
Yes.
She's walking out of the building on the steps, and she's on the phone like, good news, everybody. We're going to fuck America. I can sell you all the secrets. And it's like, but what do you, wait till you get back to your hotel.
Yeah. And I feel like they're kind of doing that character. I mean, she started off as like, Captain America's neighbor. I mean, she's a SHIELD agent. She's, in the Agent Carter, family. And it's like, oh, now she's one of the more evil people in the world. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel earned or interesting, or if we're not exploring this with Steve Rogers, it also doesn't have the same weight to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems, and that was her like yelling that into a phone right outside the building when there's clearly people around. Like, there are people in that shot just walking around. Yeah. It made you think, like, of all the people who are like, I can't read old-timey comics like the Silver Age stuff. It's too dumb and goofy. And then you watch this and you're like, oh, this is just as dumb and goofy as...
She's a mustache twirling behind the scenes villain. And it's like, it's not necessary.
No, we were got away from her trying to tie up Carly on a railroad track or something.
Yeah.
But
Madripoor is pretty rad. I mean, they introduced that, and that can be used in future things. So
yeah. I mean, other than all the articles about the racism in Madripoor, but it was yeah, high town, low town, all put. Again, Sharon Carter is supposed to be in Secret Invasion, so maybe she's also a Skrull, and that's what's going on.
Everyone.
What if everybody's a Skrull? Everybody is a Skrull. That
would be a great twist. Yeah.
What if the 5-year gap was a Skrull?
Yeah.
And once they defeat that 5-year gap Skrull, it's over.
And that's how you put Robert Downey Jr. back into the franchise.
There we go.
What if it was the friends we made along the way?
Yeah.
There we go.
Or
maybe she's a life model decoy.
That could be it too.
Another one.
Robot. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of options here. I don't know. Sharon Carter as a character just seemed. I don't want to say it either tacked in or dumb. I didn't.
Yeah.
No. I don't know why she was there.
It's like, here's somebody that exists in this universe, and now we're gonna do a heel turn on them because they have to exist in this universe. Or
bet you didn't see that coming.
Yeah, or she should have not shown up at all until the last episode, and we know there's a power broker, and then it's like, oh, there's the reveal, and it was Sharon Carter, as opposed to her like just hanging out.
It's confusing to me as the power broker. Why? And I'm sure there's somebody on the internet can explain it. But why did she's looking for the guy who's creating the super soldier serum? She gets there with Zemo and Bucky and Sam.
Yep.
Like, that scene makes no sense to me at all. Like,
no.
But
yeah. No, again, I think there was a virus subplot that was taped over there. So yeah. So it doesn't make sense.
We're in China with a virus. Got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Racist. Yeah.
All right. So back on the list, we have number 4, Zemo. Who Zemo's great.
Yeah, I enjoyed the scenes with Zemo, even though again there are plenty of scenes with Zemo that also didn't make sense, but they were enjoyable because I enjoyed watching him and his crazy butler and everything about that.
Yeah, Turkish delight. He's giving it to kids, getting information.
It's so weird because Batroc is super goofy in the comics, and he's played like needlessly straight in the show.
Yes.
And then in the comics, Baron Zemo is played super straight. He is a no-nonsense, like, Nazi. He's a Nazi, a no-nonsense Nazi. And then in this show, he's silly. And it's like, it's just funny. Like,
I think that's the personality of the actor. And they've just tapped into something, and it's great. And we need more of him in this.
Well, I agree. I agree. I don't. It's not the Baron Zemo from the comics, but in this case, Marvel does need a villain team, something that is not Sharon Carter level of stupid or something. And it does feel like I would look forward to seeing, Baron Zemo. I mean, maybe they're setting up the Thunderbolts where this guy is going to pretend to be a hero. I don't know, but. I'd love to see a 6-episode series with this guy leading a group of villains and whatever that would look like. I think that would be hilarious. But
yeah, if you got U.S. Agent and Vulture and a few other people, Ghost, why not? Like,
get Michael Keaton in there with him. That'd be very funny.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, this also highlights what we're talking about now. One of the biggest problems in these Marvel movies that people used to talk about, but then we all decided that we all have to say the best Marvel thing is the current Marvel thing, and the only thing that'll be better is the next one. Is that the villains have always been, not always, but 90% of the time are kind of duds in a lot of these movies. And the way they did Baron Zemo here is like, okay, cool. You can give some personality and interest and make me care about the villains in a way where, like, again, even in this show, within the show we just watched, the Flag Smashers, like, Carly had a bit of a personality and no one else she worked with did.
Right.
Everyone else was just like, I'm generic Flag Smasher. Punch who you tell me. And it was so stupid.
It was. And Batroc, like you said, was played just like thug for hire, very very straight. And Baron Zemo had a personality, so I'm glad he survived. I want to see more of that. I think if we're going to get several more movies where you get tiny cameos of him just hanging out in his prison cell, giving his butler instructions to murder people, I'm like, that'll be great. I'll look forward to seeing that.
I would love if every single one of these like miniseries ends with that butler blowing someone up.
I totally agree.
I want that to be the running gag for all of these.
That would be hilarious. Because, and it is, I think we had talked about this too, it doesn't make a lot of, like, how the butler know to put a bomb in that exact spot to blow up the it makes no sense, but it's hilarious to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, and then when they're on the private jet flying around, and he's like, "Well, we got this crappy food. Let's give it to them anyways. They don't know."
Yeah, exactly.
He's kind of a dick, and it's great. He's got the dance moves. He's got everything. He's great.
I like Dick. I like the villains being a dick. I like the creepy vibe he was going with offering the kids Turkish delight. That was also, it was all weird, but it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He had an energy to him that was similar to. It was different, but similar to that, like, kind of Loki energy, where it's like, oh, this is an interesting villain.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder, like, just how joyless the Russo brothers are to have put him in Civil War. And it's like, he could have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't let him do that. Like,
yeah.
Why didn't you give him more? I mean, he's got some range. I'm with you. I enjoyed those scenes. I actually thought the Bucky and Sam scenes were just far better when Zemo was with them.
So much better.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which, but then we got one other girl. So we got old John Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got U.S. agent and his buddy Battlestar.
Yep, poor Lamar. Yeah,
he was. I don't really know why they needed to kill him off here, because Lamar was actually a pretty solid character. He wasn't the standout of the show, but when he was there, I'm like, oh, this is like a solid actor doing a good job. Like,
no, I agree. I liked his scene. I liked the little brief bit we bought about would you take the super soldier serum, and Lamar's like, well, hell yeah, of course I'd do that. Imagine how great that would be. I mean, I like that kind of wide-eyed optimism.
Yeah,
I like that character. Did they officially kill him, or did he just get injured really bad? What? No, of course he killed him, right? Because he went to the elevator. Never mind.
But like, I wish they didn't, and came up with another reason why.
Yeah.
John, like, you didn't need to kill someone. He could have just taken the serum, and then, the Flag Smashers could have just blown up another building, or, killed some civilians or something. And that made him have to get in there and take extreme measures to stop them from killing more people.
I kept expecting that we would, that he would have survived at some point, because I thought the character was good. The screen time was nice and everything else. But that's right, yeah, they did. But I mean, you could have gone a roadie approach and just crippled him some. That's always popular.
Which I like to think that Don Cheadle did that, because he was just like, I'd really like to sit in these movies now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have me back, I want like a nice, give me a nice stool, so I can sit or lean while we're doing these scenes.
I want all my scenes to be sitting, or my face inside the armor, so I could be sitting while How about but John Walker? How was that take? I mean, this is a major character for Marvel. How'd you guys like John?
I liked him. I liked how they did him in this. I hated
the end. I hated the end, at the last turn, like I said.
Yeah.
But I feel like they introduced him in an interesting way, where you had kind of some sympathy for him, where he's trying to fill the shoes, and he knows that he really can't do that. And it's also in the subplot of, would you take the serum, or do you need the superpowers to be it just makes you more of who you are, or whatever. But I don't know. That last episode was just weird, where he's all of a sudden sort of a good guy. He's just sort of I don't know. I wish he had gone one way full, or one way the other.
I saw a lot of people praising it as it's shades of gray, and that's how the real world is. Except we went between the span of 2 episodes, we went with cutting a guy's head off with the shield to we could work with this guy.
No, that everything up until that exactly was fine. That last episode just seemed rushed and dumb. Like
he didn't need to be redeemed. He could stay kind of just honorably discharged.
What they could have just ended it with showing him with Contessa and becoming the U.S. agent. That would have been fine. He didn't need to be there for that last bit. That there was more than enough Feds and Bucky and Cap, Falcon, like that would have been fine. Like you could have written the script in a way where you didn't need John Walker to be there. I don't know why they did it that way.
He didn't contribute terribly to the action at the end. I think you could have done more with Bucky. Like you said, I mean, he was there. They gave him shots, but it didn't matter. You could have given those same shots to Bucky and just had things go on. Or I mean, even better if have not killed off Lamar and had him in there trying to help things. That might have been interesting.
That would have been really good. Or I mean, you could have had Falcon like swoop in last minute to take that van and stop it from crashing and killing everybody in it. That the flags again, like that's part of what made the Flag Smashers so stupid. Is they're just trying to like fight with John Walker and stuff because their whole thing is like, we just gotta just let us murder these people in this van. It was like, it was this weird obsession because that wasn't even like their main goal was to like sow chaos and like mission accomplished, guys. You did it. Like, you know, you ruin the meeting. You don't have to murder these people. Like that's what crosses you over into just being bloodthirsty murderers and not like a group with a cause.
Yeah, I mean, interrupting the meeting, terrorizing people, did it. Blowing up a bunch of vans seems, with the weird spider locks. I like how somebody in the props department really enjoyed building that little spider lock that was going to hold the doors together.
I'm glad John Walker didn't just try to punch the side of the van or punch under the van or go around and break the glass and
we gotta.
Yeah, there were a lot of no, it's just like I have to open it, but there's the spider lock. If only there was another way to get into this van.
I like how the door handle stayed on the door, but the spider lock, the very sturdy trucks. So what happens to John Walker now? Where does he where do you think they do with him? Does he show up in Captain America 4? Do they have him?
I guess.
I mean, his arc was that he wanted to get revenge on, on Carly for killing Battlestar. So he's kind of closed that loop, and he can now start working with Val to do stuff for hire, I guess. I don't know. I think she's just going to run like secret missions and just drop him into places and, let him do some stuff for a while. And at some point we'll catch up to him and he's, had a full, evil turn or something. But
why not?
Yeah.
We're down to the final two. Okay. So of course our title characters, so where are we going?
So, let's go with Bucky. Yep, he starts out in therapy. He has kind of some revenge stuff going on with people in his book. He's got the relationship with the old Asian guy whose son he killed.
Yeah. Which there is no word for.
Apparently not. But then he has kind of the breakthrough that, with Sam, basically, that Captain America, chose to solve him or to believe in him, and if Sam, he also believed in Sam, and if Sam rejects that, then maybe he should reject that too, or whatever that is. I don't know. So he's got some doubt, and he kind of learns to believe in himself, or believe, that he can make his own path, and that he's redeemed himself. He's not there to shoot Zemo at the end. He just puts him in custody and walks off into the sunset and has a good old time at a barbecue.
He does the right thing. He ruins the old man's life.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like he's like he has to tell him, "Yep, I'm the one that did it, and I've been your friend for all these months just to spring this on you now."
Bye.
Wasn't there a lesson earlier on of like, you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for them? That's part of what closure is.
Yeah. So, no, it's a lot of it's for him. There's a weird thing.
It's almost exclusively for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, does it help provide closure to the old man to know that some guy pretended to be his friend for months and had dinner with him?
He could have just said, I looked into it and he was murdered and I killed the guy who murdered him. So long. Never see you again. It could have been like Darth Vader, your father's not alive anymore. Luke. Yeah. So,
you think he could have
he kills the Winter Soldier. Yeah. No, exactly.
Part of the weakness of the show is Falcon's whole arc is so much more well thought out, and it felt like an afterthought, like, oh god, we gotta think of something to do for the Winter Soldier because it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
What do we do? He's trying to redeem himself. Isn't that what he's been doing in all these movies? Yeah, but like more. Okay, I guess. Like,
no, but again, I love everything he's doing.
Sure.
Just as the actor, as the performance, it's like, he's
you love seeing him on screen.
Yeah. He's smiling. He's having a good time. He's his power is a little comes and goes. Like sometimes he's like as a Winter Soldier, he was an unstoppable force, but now he's kind of retired Winter Soldier. He's kind of like, do we got to fight? And
he's Mel Gibson.
Yeah. So he's not as aggressive, but I mean, he's still a super soldier or whatever, and he has a metal arm. So
yeah, Sebastian Stan is good. The problem with just the overall conceit of the arc is, so he somehow is one of the handful of people that saved the entire universe from Thanos. And in order to redeem himself, it's like, oh, well, that's step one, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like, no, that's good. That's good enough, I think. Like,
it's not going to get better than that. I mean, this is the problem. Same thing with the loan. It's these people helped save half of the universe, not just Earth, from genocide, and then brought people back and fought in this epic war and everything else. It's like, well, now you're going to have to work with this court-appointed therapist to work out your issues and write names on a paper and go apologize to them one by one for the people. It's like, I mean, also, I have a feeling he killed a lot more people than the names on that book.
Absolutely. And what would have it's like, you don't have to think that hard on this. All you had to do was Sam's tapped by the government to be like, these flag smashers are bad. And, Sam being like, I'm going to need help. I better call my buddy Bucky to help me. And Bucky then being like, the only one that's going to be able to help us is Baron Zemo. And Sam being like, I didn't want to do this, but, you're right. Just do that.
Hold on. Why are they going after the flag smashers at all? I mean, no. It's really Torres is the one who puts him on it, but he doesn't have like an official job. Well, I need to go get the flag smashers. He's like, well, I guess I should, something's going on, so I should go. And he takes Bucky with him. He doesn't really have a lot of skin in the game, and
well, to the contrary,
neither of them do. I mean, it's like
times Sam's like, these guys are pretty much right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Why is he even involved at all? Like he leaves his sister and the boat and the financial crisis.
Like a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a dick. And he's not even Captain America. It's not his responsibility.
Yeah. No, he's sort of a contractor for the Air Force.
It makes apparently doesn't pay anything. Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, in this world, can anyone just like call Sam to ask for something and he's just like honor bound to do it?
Yeah.
Like I could just call Sam right now and be like, Sam, buddy, I'm in a jam. You got to help me. And he's just going to be like, all right. I'll abandon my loved ones and help whoever you are for 6 episodes, but no more.
Yes, it is very strange. The whole he's kind of sympathetic to the cause. So maybe he wants to get to Carly before Carly takes it too far, but then he utterly fails in that job. And like, why, if you didn't really believe in this whole thing, or if anything, maybe you're sympathetic to them, why would you be willing to break Baron Zemo, kind of a world criminal, out of jail to do this thing you don't really want to do or care about doing, but you're going along with anyway?
Well, why not break Baron Zemo out, since there were apparently no consequences to anyone for breaking him out?
Yeah, I thought that was the breakout didn't matter. Like, even when John Walker showed up, it's like, you got Baron Zemo out of there. This isn't right. We should take him back, but maybe later. I mean, he's fine here. He's got. Have you tasted this Turkish delight? I mean, shit. Let's sit down for a minute. And
it would have been so easy to have them just show up to interrogate Zemo at the jail or at the raft, and then he breaks himself out.
Yeah.
And then corners them and is just like, hey, you know what? This is something that's of personal interest to me, the super soldier serum. So I'm going to help you guys out. And you're going to work with me because you guys just interrogated me and I followed you guys and everyone's going to think you broke me out.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have worked.
Like that's something that's anything. just do anything else.
How did you like? So Ryan, your last name on the list, Sam. So we've been going back and forth,
sure.
but we talked about Sam has an arc. One thing for the comic book readers that always struck me is that Reminder spent his time getting Sam into the costume in the comic, the writer, and then when they got Sam into the costume, they seemed to fuck it up almost immediately. Like his actual comics with him as Captain America were extremely clunky. The very first storyline we got with him, he got inverted and turned into an evil fascist for the Axis storyline. That was literally the first. That was the first time we saw him as Captain America. I'm not right. I'm right, Joe. I
know. It's just the way you're saying it.
It's super weird. No, like in this very first issue, he's being a dick. He's like, "Oh, fuck those people." This is like the first time we're seeing him lead the Avengers. He's a crazy asshole, and then we move into a "You Don't Deserve the Shield" kind of John Walker, redo series, and Spencer was trying to tackle racism and other things. But by that point, it's like the comic book really would have benefited from a nice, good, heroic 12-issue storyline or something, and him just doing something awesome, as opposed to immediately putting him into crazy town. It feels like this show may have gotten it. At the very least, Sam, for all the other silliness, he did get to do some heroic things. He did get to give a speech that was kind of, you politicians are a bunch of dicks, bunch of solving problems. It felt like we got maybe a better Captain America here out of him when all was said and done.
Yeah, it's I think the underrated storyline is that he's the one who isn't superpowered, or he's the one who chose he wouldn't choose to take the super serum or whatever. So his power is being able to talk to people, to reason with them.
Yeah.
And he's taken up the mantle of the shield, and the shield isn't a weapon; it's to protect. So
oh man, you got deep on us. Yeah.
Deep. Yeah. So I think I think he's in a good place. I don't know. He's got his boat and his house in Louisiana, and his sister. It's all set up.
Did they need did they need for the sister to rag on him continuously through the series?
Somebody had to. I remember when he's playing the whatever guy in the bar in Madripoor, and his sister calls. Yeah, and he has to act around that. That's just comic, relief right there. So
I love that they didn't do a pat down to remove cell phones and things like that well before that instance.
Yeah,
because that makes a ton of sense when you're dealing with people like that. So you have that, and again, like the sister stuff, like they probably went a little too far with the ragging on him constantly. Like they could have probably cut a couple of those scenes out or changed them a bit. It would have been nice to see her be like a little more supportive sometimes.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. But yeah, the Sam stuff is the strongest stuff. That whole arc, and again, it's strong, but it would have benefited like a lot of other things if they took like again, cut down on cleaning that boat and give us a little more bits about what's going on. I mean, hell, it would have benefited from having a flashback about maybe when he first joined the Air Force and what it meant to him, and like little things like that sprinkled through. I think would have brought elevated the whole show to that upper tier of Marvel stories.
No, I agree. I think that there was a lot there, and I think you're meant to assume a bunch. You're meant to assume that he's how he juggles what Isaiah's told him versus his own beliefs in America and everything else. He's a different person, and I think that it works out well, except again, a few less shots of cleaning the boat, maybe a few less shots of the flag smashers like wandering around a shitty European building going, what are we going to do? Oh man, they're onto us. I don't know. We better do something. Like, just trim that stuff out.
That and that whole speech was pretty terrible. And towards the end of the 6th episode, what would have made a lot more sense is, again, this is where you need a little more room to breathe. Maybe you just have the last episode be 20 minutes longer or something, or 15 minutes longer. That should have been like, cut to 3 months later, and there's like a congressional hearing, and he delivers like a well thought out, passionate speech or something like that. Because sorry, Ryan.
No. I was just thinking you could loop it around to like what the first episode was, where he's turning over the shield and he gives the speech there. You could flip it around where he's unveiling the Isaiah statue or something, and he gives the full thing, and Isaiah's in the audience or whatever, and secretly you could just tie it all back around.
That's fantastic,
but he did need to say something because they were about to vote, so there's a little plot business to clean up there.
Sure. I mean, and again, like you could have just written the script a little differently to make it so the vote was like next week or something like that. You could have anything like that, or just had that bit be quick and then do something. Because look, I've never fought multiple super soldiers in a flown around saving people, but like he literally has just finished doing more excruciating physical labor than any of us will ever do in our lives, and he somehow finds the time immediately after that to compose himself enough to deliver like a 3-minute nonstop speech on his like elevated thoughts on the treatment of other people in the world. It's like, there's no way anyone would be able to do that. You would be like, look, guys, I think this is messed up. I got to take like a nap or something. And then like, I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about this, but that's messed up.
I got to hang out on the boat for a little bit. Well, but he's Captain America. That's
exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's why he's Captain America, because he can get on that soapbox at the end of punching the bad guys. He can,
that's his superpower. He's speechifying. Yeah. All in all, though, I mean, it wasn't bad. Like it was the middle of the road. I mean, it was good. I think a couple adjustments would make it good. The thing that the big detraction that I see posted over and over again that people all say is that it got too political, which, I mean, you're talking about an agent of the U.S. government, so I'm not really sure how you would have avoided part of that. I mean, it was by its nature a political show, and you kind of knew that going in, I would hope. But then I just thought a lot of like the social stuff that they did throw in was often, maybe not a bad point, just poorly delivered or hammered over the head where they didn't need to. A little bit of subtlety would have gone a long way.
Sure.
I mean, if they make a second season and that's all they do in the second season, then they probably pushed it too far. I mean, I feel like they've made whatever points they were going to make, and
if Captain America 4 opens up with him trying to get a loan for a second boat, I'm just
exactly.
God damn it, Marvel.
Yeah, like here's one of the problems with doing it this way. And again, like I don't care. I don't think it was too political or anything. Again, like it's a Captain America related property. I enjoy political thrillers, so that's fine. I enjoy that genre. The problem is trying to act like we live in the same world that we see on the screen. And a lot of these issues aren't transferable in like, it's like if we lived here now and half of all of humanity disappeared for 5 years and came back after one of many alien invasions and actual aliens and gods and Superhuman powered people were just roaming around to the point where there was a whole thing that we got to watch on like C-SPAN of them like outlawing superheroes or like, with the whole Civil War. It's like, in that world, a lot of this stuff either wouldn't be relevant or it would be so much further down the list.
Yeah.
And it's hard to take it, like, to have that same weight. It's like, why would Isaiah Bradley still necessarily be on the run or need to be forgotten in a world where the United States government has dealt with gods, multiple alien invasions, and losing half the population, followed by getting half the population back immediately? That seems so low down on the list of things they should care about.
I don't think you'd see douchey senator shenanigans with who they're giving the shield to and any of that. I mean, once Thanos has showed up and just screwed up the world multiple times and ships. I mean, in that final battle in Endgame, giant worm ships are crashing into Virginia. I don't know where the compound was. I mean, it's like a lot of this stuff would be much different. And so maybe it's not that I always say it's not that it's so too political. It's the stuff that's in there is just dumb. The stuff that we think are dumb, it's dumb. It's dumb for a lot of reasons. It's not dumb for politics. It's dumb because it's dumb.
Yeah, and also, why would they need the shield? They could have just appointed a new Captain America and gave him a shield that looked like the shield. It's the U.S. government. If they say that's Captain America, that's Captain America. Like,
maybe the U.S. government in this world has mascots that they just need to appoint people to from time to time. Like, have them show up at high school football games and dance around. And
that's what they do. Well, I just remember, everyone, that Captain America's costume comes from Wakanda, so not American, not my Cap.
That's I
don't know. I thought it was fine. Hey, Joe and Ryan, thank you very much for spending the time talking about the show, and we'll come. We got to come back on and do. We'll do something. The three of us.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. I hope a lot of the listeners appreciate. Three like middle-aged white guys talking about the race relations in Falcon Winter Soldier. That'll go over well. I think.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. No one gets upset about that kind of stuff.
No. This is
definitely definitely not on Twitter or in the YouTube comments.
Yeah, no. The comments are going to be great.
Yeah, everybody knows how to take this stuff. It's nuance. Every opinion matters. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to wait like a few hours, and then I'm just going to scroll through the comments.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a great time.
Like them all without reading any of them.
That's the way you do it.
That is the way I do it. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.